Welcome. The purpose for us meeting today is to collectively learn about the new Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System, also known as T-TESS. Our time together is intended to ensure that every one of you has a clear understanding about the new system, the implications for teacher evaluations, and how it will support all of us in learning and growing as a school community to ultimately impact our students' performance. The objectives for today are that each of you will become familiar with the T-TESS process to continue improving professional practices as a school community of learners. Move us from the procedural to conceptual knowledge, including how the domains of the T-TESS rubric applies to teacher roles and responsibilities. Recognize and collectively embrace the fact that T-TESS is a research-based process with a strong system of support intended to connect the appraisal system to training and professional development. This video is an introduction to the T-TESS process and will provide some background and context for how the new system was developed and will be implemented. Several members of the steering committee who assisted with the development of the T-TESS process are in the video.
I want to thank you for participating in this training for the Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System, or T-TESS. Through our successful T-TESS pilot districts across the state, we have learned a lot about how to support educator development, and I am excited to launch implementation of T-TESS statewide. As you know, our old evaluation system was one of check-the-box compliance, and our goal was to move from a system like that to one of continual support and instructional growth. Teacher development is not a one-day snapshot of performance. Instead, it's an ongoing process that requires collaboration between educators and administrators, one that allows you to have input in your own development. And the best part of our educator support system is that it was created by Texas educators for Texas educators. We expect this system will provide you, our educators, with continual feedback and an opportunity to constantly improve classroom instruction. We often say that children are the future, but it is you, our teachers, who will shape that bright future. Thank you so much for your hard work and service for the school children of Texas.
The Professional Development Appraisal System, known as T-TESS, was created in 1997. It was a great start. Our new appraisal system will be comprised of observation, teacher support, student growth, teacher input, and student output. The best aspect of T-TESS is that it's very transparent. It actually shows you what good teaching looks like throughout the year.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about in regards to the new educator system is that it's an opportunity for teachers and administrators to work together in order to learn and grow, and ultimately that's going to impact student learning. We need to have clear, robust metrics for teachers in non-tested areas.
The pre-conference allowed me to mutually discuss the upcoming lessons with the appraiser to highlight specific details and provide clarity of expectation. The post-conference was powerful because it focused on self-reflection for areas of reinforcement and refinement to impact my growth and development. The T-TESS rubric has been essential in helping me understand student expectations and learning opportunities and fine-tune my lessons to best support student success. The process has allowed me to see what I do well in the classroom as well as focus on areas of growth and professional development.
T-TESS has actually done some remarkable and transformative things for the campus here at Pflugerville Middle School. Specifically, what I can speak to right off the bat is what it's done to help our teachers develop their own professional capacity. The specificity of the rubric really allows our teachers to have very concrete conversations about how to improve themselves in terms of professional relationships.
these observations is to provide useful, relevant information to classroom teachers to use for their lessons. These observations will be done multiple times throughout the year with a rubric that was created by Texas teachers. The rubric is comprised of the following parts: planning, instruction, environment, and professional practices and responsibilities. Beginning with planning, we have standards and alignment, data and assessment, knowledge of students, and activities. For instruction, we have achieving expectations, content knowledge and expertise, communication, differentiation, monitor and adjust. Environment, classroom environment, routines and procedures, managing student behavior, and classroom culture. And lastly, for professional practices and responsibilities, we have professional demeanor and ethics, goal setting, professional development, and school community involvement. Before the announced observation, the observer and the teacher will meet in a pre-conference to discuss the context of the lesson. After each observation, the teacher and the observer will meet in a post-conference in which the observer will use reflective questions to create dialogue on the strengths of the lesson and how to transfer those strengths into other areas of the classroom. The entire system is designed to support educators and their growth in the profession.
When I'm observing a teacher, I'm collecting actual evidence which directly supports each domain, and as I become more familiar with the T-TESS rubric, my proficiency of categorizing evidence and assigning performance ratings has increased. As an appraiser, the process has deepened my interaction with the teachers to include collaborative dialogue and coaching. T-TESS focuses on continued improvement for the educator, no matter how long they've been in the profession.
The bottom line is that the process is designed to support teachers and principals here in the great state of Texas.
T-TESS has an excellent rubric. Teacher-friendly, it's principal-friendly, principal-proof. It lines out good instruction. It uses language to know what good teaching looks like. To me, what I see out of T-TESS is it's an opportunity for a teacher and the principal to collaborate to try to improve teacher instruction. What I have seen is a lot more focused communication between the teacher and myself. In my opinion, the effort is definitely worth the reward.
Well, you've had an opportunity to hear from committee members and colleagues who are implementing the T-TESS system. This 3-day training was designed to provide you an in-depth understanding of the overall T-TESS system and a step-by-step process to implementing this multidimensional observation tool. We look forward to seeing the impact on teacher and student performance statewide. I'm teaching for Texas.
We're teaching for Texas.
We are teaching for Texas.
Effective June 8, 2014, Texas has new rules regarding educator standards. These new Texas teacher standards, along with research-based best practices, provide the foundation for the T-TESS rubric. Just like our Teach for Students, these standards define what teachers are supposed to know and be able to do. Chapter 149.1001 clearly states that the purpose of these standards is to inform training, appraisals, and professional development for teachers. Training and professional development, or growth, are the force for the new evaluation system. This slide provides the categories for each of the standards. We will study these later. However, note the topics for each standard so you can mentally connect them to the T-TESS rubric. With the rollout of this new system comes new mindset. We need to begin thinking about observation as a learning tool rather than a gotcha. We are a learning organization and should consistently model this as adult learners as well. At Southwest Schools, there will be an announced date that will be determined during your pre-conference, in which you will discuss your lesson and what will occur during this observation with your appraiser. Please do not confuse your formal full appraisal with the walkthroughs which are unannounced. Because T-TESS is a new appraisal system, no one will be waived from being formally observed. Please note that the T-TESS rubric was created by a steering committee comprised of Texas educators and developed for Texas educators to provide effective support, feedback, and opportunities for professional growth. This rubric will be used during observations and discussions of your performance. We will further discuss how this rubric is used throughout this observation. I would like for you to pause this presentation and reflect upon a recent lesson you observed or delivered that was effective. What occurred during that lesson that led it to be effective? Your answer may be different from someone else who observed the same lesson, and your response is probably driven by what you believe effective teaching is. This is the basis of how the rubric is used. In order for there to be a shared understanding of what good teaching is, there must be a consensus on what it would look like. The rubric will help us to formalize this idea. When a lesson is effective, we know it when we see it. But when it is missing key elements, how do we communicate what is missing to someone else? How do we develop the missing skills in others? How do we measure it? T-TESS provides us with what it is, such as what an effective lesson is, what effective teaching is, so on and therefore. The process for building these skills in others and the tools by which we measure it is used by the T-TESS rubric and the correlating pieces. There are many effective elements of a good lesson. The goal is creating instructional opportunities or lessons where the dimensions come together at higher performance levels. The T-TESS rubric includes 4 broad categories or domains and 16 dimensions. Let's look at those areas. Planning, which includes standards and alignment, data and assessment, knowledge of students and activities. Instruction, which includes achieving expectations, content knowledge and expertise, communication, differentiation, monitoring and adjusting. The learning environment, which includes classroom environment, routines and procedures, managing student behavior and classroom culture, and professional practices and responsibilities, which includes professional demeanor and ethics, goal setting, professional development, school community involvement. The next few slides will highlight each element of the rubric, the domains, dimension, descriptors, and performance levels. This section of the rubric is where we see the domain. In this case, it's instruction, as it is notated right here in this area. This section outlines the dimensions. In this case, it's differentiation. These sections provide the descriptors for each performance level of the differentiation instruction dimension. This slide shows the performance levels: distinguished, accomplished, proficient, developing, and improvement needed. When appraisers use the evidence to score a lesson, they will begin in the proficient column. This performance level, proficient, signifies a rock-solid teacher. Let me say this again. Proficient is rock solid. What does this mean? We will see a bell curve with T-TESS evaluations. This is a culture shift in Texas. If teachers are proficient and rock solid, then we will see a bell curve which indicates there are some that fall in the accomplished and distinguished levels and others that will be developed